What's up, everybody? My name's Girl, and here bringing you another episode of Let's Talk. It's been a while since I've done one of these, actually, and I don't know. I just haven't been able to figure out anything to really talk about. A lot of you left suggestions in the comments that really I could talk about. Well, the most wanted one was anger, and I guess that's one that I can relate to the most out of all of these. I can tell you, I was trying to figure out the words to put it in. Now, a lot of you are very young. You're at a young age. Some of you have these feelings that you don't really necessarily understand yet. Some of you confuse depression for just being tired of something. Some of you, and I get it. I get I get the pain, the heartache, the everything. Everything that comes with growing up, I get it. I'm not that old. I'm young just like everybody here. I I understand the feelings that most of you have gone through because I've gone through them myself. Anger especially. Anger is one of those things that you can't really control. You can be happy one day and then another day you just feel like the world's against you. And some of people may confuse it for depression. Some people may call it a disease that they might have. But no, it's just growing up. You go through so many emotions growing up and getting older. I remember when I was around 13 or so. I'm going to give you guys a story right now. I remember when I was 13. It was just coming to that age where, I was rebellious to my parents. I didn't want to do anything. I just wanted to sit at home and lay in bed and do all that stuff. But one of the biggest things that happened to me when I was 13 was that I got into a huge, huge argument with my mom. This argument led to us not talking for a very long time. We lived under the same roof. Me and my dad still talked. Everybody still talked, except me and my mom. Me and my mom didn't really see eye to eye at that point. And from then, I still feel as if we have our problems. And even now, to this day, I can feel the emotions that went through my mind when I was 13. This argument was about pretty much nothing. I was sitting at my computer playing World of Warcraft like every other 13-year-old my age, 13-year-old gamer. Um, and my mother, I'll tell you something about my mother. My mother goes through a lot of pain. She suffers from a lot of different diseases. She suffers from fibromyalgia, arthritis, depression, anxiety, all those things. So she's a very irritable person if things don't go exactly as she wanted them as planned. So I right now, uh, as we're speaking, I try my best to appease her in any way I can. I try to make her happy. I try to uh, make it so that we're not uh, we're not hating each other 24/7 like we used to. And I guess that's got to be my favorite part of it. About but really doing anything is to figure out what you really want to do. And for now, my job right now is to keep my mother happy. Now, back to the story. I was sitting in my computer playing World of Warcraft, and I had forgotten to clean, I think it was. I had forgotten to do the chores. Now, a lot of you forget to do the chores. A lot of you are young and you just don't want to do it, or you're busy, you're playing a game, or you're talking to your friends or anything like that. And a lot of the time it's fun. It's fun to play your games. It's fun to do all this stuff, and I understand that. I understand completely because I was there. Um, it's fun to do all this. It keeps you sane. It keeps the rest of the world out. You're playing a game that nobody else is playing. I mean, nobody that from your world that's playing. Because this is a virtual world that you're in. You let the world out of it. You get the world out. You're able to forget the days. You're able to forget it. And that's why I turned to video games. I didn't like the reality of I didn't like my reality, at least. And, you know, now, I had forgotten to do the chores around the house. Now, some of you may get a scolding or something along those lines. Um, I'm not really the kind of person that will back down from an argument. And I get that from my mother. I get it from her side of the family as well. Um, my mother is a very strong-willed person. I get my ideals, my opinions. Everything comes from the idea that I can control myself. I can control what's happening to the people around me. I can control my emotions. That's what that's why I created Let's Talk. I wanted to show people how to control it, how to deal with something, to show that you're not alone when it comes to most of the things that you've gone through in your life. Because honestly, one of the biggest inspirations I've had in my life is my dad. My dad talked to me when nobody else would. He would give me hope that something there was something better waiting for me at the end of the road. And he was right. I came to YouTube. If you just listen to yourself, listen and tell yourself that everything's going to be alright, and you don't do anything about it, you just say that it's going to be alright. It's not going to be alright. You need to change yourself. You need to change for the better. And a lot of people disagree, saying that you can't change, you can't do this, you can't do that. I disagree. I've changed. I'm a lot different than how I was when I was 13. And I keep getting off the story. Because this is a really hard story for me to tell. I'm very sorry if I go off track for a while. It's a really kind of hard story for me to tell. So, I'll go back to it right now. I spent a lot of time on the computer. I'll admit that. I do spend a lot of time I still spend a lot of time on the computer. I didn't get out as much as most people would like to. I don't like going outside. I don't like interacting with people. I don't like doing most of that stuff. I don't really like it. It's not that I don't like people, in a sense. It's that I don't like the interactions with people. I don't like the idea that I have to do this. I have to act a certain way. So I spent my time on the computer. I spent my free time on my computer. I spent a lot of time just being myself online, playing with my friends that I knew from either school or I knew online. It was fun. So I forgot to do this chores one day. And my mother had come into my room, and me and her have these moments, I guess you'd call them. We have our moments where we don't see eye to eye, where one of us is going to be the top. Neither of us is going to back down. We have those moments. I don't like those moments, but we have them because me and her have the same idea of what's going on. That we're in control. That we want the control, at least. At least that's how I see it. Now, she had come into my room saying that I had forgot to do this, and I wasn't upset by it. I wasn't upset by it at all. I said, alright, give me a couple minutes. I'm almost done. And one of the main things that had happened during me saying that, was that she wasn't in the best of moods, and neither was I. I was going through school. I was young. I'm still young, but I was younger than I am now. I didn't have control over my emotions completely. This story is basically to tell you guys that you're not alone when it comes to feeling the anger towards someone you love, towards your parents, towards your friends, towards anybody. You don't have control over it most of the time. And it's understandable. If you talk it out with your parents, they may understand. If you talk it out with somebody, they may understand. You talk it out with your friend. Who knows? They might even help you out. They might give you some advice that you might need. Back to the story, I'm sorry. Um, so neither of us were in the best of moods. And I guess one thing led to another, and I ended up uh, telling her to go away. I told her to go away, get out of my room, and I'll tell you, that's not the best thing to say when your parents are upset. Uh, that's not the best thing to say at all. Um, I guess me saying that really set her off, because what happened next was really quite over the top. She had grabbed my computer, my old one, and she had yanked all the cords out, and she had done all this purely just to make me upset. Not really to make me upset, to show that she was in control. And although it made me upset that she did that, I tried, I guess. No, I didn't try. I'm not gonna lie to you. I didn't try. I didn't try to make it better. I didn't try to appease her. My defense system kicked in. It told me, well, here's how my brain worked. My brain was telling me, she's challenging your authority. She's challenging you. She's challenging your existence. And that's how I used to think. The people used to challenge me. They would challenge who I was, who I am. They would try to change me. They were trying to control me. And I'll tell you one thing, I don't like it when people try to change or control me. It's one of my biggest things that I will not accept when somebody tries to control me. And this happened fairly quick. I wasn't able to respond in a way that would have been better for me to respond as. I chose to kick in the defense system, and I yelled back. While I told her that I didn't like her, I told her I hated her, I told her all this stuff. Now, I regretted it after. I did. But me saying that at that time, it wasn't the brightest idea, I'll tell you that. It was not the brightest idea for me to tell her that while she's ripping out the cords and all that. Now she's even more upset. And I felt like I caused it. And I did cause it. I did. I'll admit that. I caused her to feel like she was insignificant towards me. That she wasn't the mother that I wanted. And I felt bad. I did. I still feel bad to this day that I did it. And one thing led to another. She started to feel more and more depressed. And this story doesn't end very nice. She tried to commit suicide. It was one of the most traumatizing moments for me, because I still remember the look in her eye that she had, and the paramedics coming in when I was just waking up, and the paramedics looking at me, and no, they didn't say anything. They didn't tell me anything. They just went ahead and took my mother away. I mean, it was honestly one of those moments where you think, this has to be a dream. This can't be real. This has to be a dream. It was that moment. I truly thought that it was a dream. I didn't want to believe that my mother was being taken away from me into a hospital. And the point of this story is, try to control your emotions. Don't let anger or anything like that cloud your mind. Don't let anything like that, because once it does, you say things, you do things that you will regret so much when you're older. You'll regret it. You really will. I regret so much that I said those things to my mother. I haven't apologized. I don't feel the need to. Because if I bring it back up, I feel as if it's just going to repeat itself. And that's one of the scariest things for me. So, I told you guys this story to give you guys an example of why anger can probably be one of the most harmful things to you. And, you know, try to control it. I'll give you guys that much advice. Try to control your emotions as much as you can. If you feel the need, if you really feel the need to lash out and to scream, grab that pillow, punch the pillow, it doesn't matter. Do something. But don't put it on someone else. Don't put your emotions on someone else, because it will just hurt them and you in the long run. You never know. Every action has a reaction. And for me, mine was more traumatizing than others. Now what I try to do is I'm trying to help you guys. I'll do my best to help you in any way or shape that I can. I'll try and give you guys the best advice from my personal experiences. And hopefully you'll be able to see how it affects you in the long run. That it will positively affect you. And that's one of the best things I can think of, at least to try and help you guys. So, take my advice into consideration, just a little bit of a consideration. Don't act out on your emotions, because that's childish and it could hurt someone that you love very much. So, take the advice and use it as well as you can. So, I guess that's the end of the episode, because I can't really think of anything else to give you. I'm still dealing with my anger. The key to actually dealing with it is to accept that it's there and try to control it as much as you can. You may have those moments in your life where you may think that it's overwhelming, but eventually, if you'll look back and you'll say, I'm glad I didn't react that way. So take the advice, and thank you guys for watching. Have a great day. Bye, everybody.